They start off with music, and it's them kind of singing in their spaceship, and you get that kind of James Gunn feel from how he directed the other two, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2.
Which is interesting because he wasn't there.
Yeah,
right.
And I like the way how that's I guess that's kind of a nod, or to like the Russo brothers, how they were able to kind of capture all those tones from each movie and kind of still keep it all together in one thing though, but be different every time you saw a new group of heroes.
It was definitely impressive.
Yes. So how do you want to start this?
Let's just jump right in, man.
All right.
I know you got the notes, Mr. Heavy Hitter over here.
So right from the beginning, you start off. I think the movie kind of takes place maybe
like right after Ragnarok.
Yeah, right after, because you hear kind of chatter over radio waves saying that they're kind of pleading with Thanos' ship, saying that they're just a transport basically. They're not a war vessel, and they don't care. They're there for the which stone are they there for? The power and space. The space stone. Mm-hmm. That's the one that
Loki's hiding.
Was in the Tesseract, yeah. And basically,
he boards an Asgardian ship, right?
Yeah.
Which,
and they're kind of killing everybody off.
Yeah, it has Thor and Loki
and Heimdall, which is Idris Elba. He Loki's about to give Thanos the Tesseract, and that's when he get reintroduced to Hulk again.
Yes.
And you see kind of Hulk come out of nowhere because he says that line.
He says, we have a Hulk.
Yeah.
And then Hulk comes out and kind of gives Thanos like a haymaker.
Yeah.
And they go at it, and at first it seems like Hulk is kind of fucking him up.
Yeah.
For a while, and then Thanos just kind of grabs him like nothing.
I think he punches him in his throat.
And like grabs his arms and bends him back.
Yeah.
And just kind of beats the living shit out of him real quick.
With ease.
And body slams him.
And right there you kind of get the sense of power that Thanos really has.
Well, because he's a Titan.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So he body slams him, and everybody's kind of shocked. And then what's Idris?
Heimdall.
Yeah.
Heimdall, he says, all fathers, grant me let the dark magic flow through me once more. And he basically opens up the Bifrost and sends Hulk to Earth to warn the Avengers, basically, and of the oncoming doom, basically. And
or that Thanos is coming.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And who kills him? I think Thanos kills him.
Yeah. He says that was a mistake.
Yeah. Thor says that was a mistake. And he says you're going to die for what you did, for doing that, because that was kind of like one of his best friends. And Loki ends up giving him the Tesseract, and then which gives him the stone.
Because he says he's threatening to kill Thor.
Yeah.
And Loki tries to play the badass and says, well, I don't care, kill him.
Yeah, go ahead.
Whatever. And then he can't go through with it, and he says, all right, stop.
Yeah.
And he gives him, he gives him the stone, and they lock up Thor or whatever, close his mouth, and then
Loki tries to double cross him, right?
Yeah, he says, you know what, you're gonna need somebody to take you around. I know
kind of a guide.
I know the area very well, so let me take you. But he was gonna try to stab him in the neck.
Being the trickster that he is, the god of mischief.
And Thanos wasn't having any of that.
No, yeah.
He stops him.
Yeah.
With like nothing.
Yeah.
And pretty much he takes he puts the stone in the gauntlet, right? Yeah. And then snaps Loki's neck.
Yeah. And I like the line he says right before he dies. He says, "You'll never be a god," which was something that they were really proud of, being from Asgard or whatever. But yeah, and then cut to the Doctor Strange when
Their house, their mansion.
the Sanctum Sanctorum. The Hulk basically flies through the roof into their place, and he says, "Oh, Thanos is coming! Thanos is coming!" And then we get reintroduced to Pepper, and because she was what's the actress who played Pepper Potts?
Gwyneth.
Yeah, Gwyneth. I know she actually wanted to leave the like the Marvel universe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because she didn't want to be a part of it anymore. But I guess they pulled her in and offered her some more money or something. But yeah, so she came back, and that's when you learn that Tony reinstalled the what's it called, the arc reactor back into his chest, and Doctor Strange kind of meets up with Tony and tells him, hey, you know, we got some business. And he's like, who the hell are you? You know, like you're a magician for like kids, basically. Kind of just like, he basically appears out of nowhere, and he's just like, oh, like, you're stupid. Like, okay, I'm Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Like, who are you? But basically, Bruce Banner shows up, and he's like, hey, Tony, how's it been? And then they kind of get a crash course in the Infinity Stones, and they kind of explain to Bruce and Tony where they came from, basically from the Big Bang, and they were spread across the universe. And that's when the first attack on Earth comes from, Ebony Maw and Cole Obsidian come to collect the Time Stone from Doctor Strange.
That's right.
Yeah, and they basically fight with Wong, Doctor Strange, and Iron Man. And then that's when you get your first...
That's it, out in the street, right?
Yeah, when they're out in the street. That's when he calls them Squidward. Like, Earth is closed today, basically. And we get to see Tony Stark's new nanotech suit, which was pretty dope. He just pulls these two little levers on his sweater, and it kind of activates it. Or he taps on his chest too, so maybe that has to do with it. But I thought that was pretty cool. Spider-Man pops up, and he's trying to figure out what's going on, because I think he asked at one point, "Hey, Mr. Stark, what's up with these guys? Why are they so mad?" And what happens? Doctor Strange gets knocked unconscious, and his robe or cape kind of flies away with him. And then Tony's kind of like, hey Peter, go protect the wizard. And then they get beamed up into the spaceship, right?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. That's when you find out also that the Hulk doesn't want to come out.
Yeah, they try to get Bruce to kind of change, and the Hulk is fighting with him internally.
Yeah.
And it's more when you get the sense of that his pride is kind of hurt.
Yeah.
Because he had never really had a taste of defeat, you know. He's usually the big man on campus. Everybody's fearing him, and now he's kind of lower on the food chain.
He kind of got put in his place.
And so he's like, no.
Yeah, he's like, I want to come out. But I thought that was pretty cool. How they you kind of got to see both of them kind of talk to each other for a second. And what else? So Peter Parker and Doctor Strange get beamed up to the spaceship, and they take off, and Tony chases after them, and then we get Spider-Man's new suit with the Iron Spider-Man, because they're going up into space, and Peter is basically starting to pass out because there's no oxygen that high, and
because Tony tells him not to come.
Yeah.
And he comes anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
He gets the suit, and then he basically activates a parachute on Peter's suit that makes him fly off. But what you don't see is him kind of holding onto the back of the spaceship, and he sneaks into a little hole or something. And so they take off, and then that's when we go to the Guardians, and it shows them flying around, and that's when they're kind of going to a distress beacon that was from the Asgardian ships, in hopes to get paid. And they find out that all the ships are gone, or they're all destroyed basically, and that's when Thor comes floating and hits their windshield. And then I really like that part, because that Rocket's like, oh, get it off,
yeah.
Windshield wipers. And so they bring it back in the ship, and what happens? They're kind of looking at him, and then I know Peter Quill is like, how is this dude still alive? And then the thing, Drax is like, he's not a dude, he's a man. You're a dude. He's like, he looks like a pirate and an angel had a baby. And then that whole time, Peter's trying to kind of compete with Thor, and compare tragedies, I guess, because he's like, oh well, I had to kill my sister because she killed my father, and my mother got killed by an elf. And then Peter's like, oh well, I killed my dad because he killed my mom, and he tried to kill the whole universe, and I still have both my eyes. And so I thought that was pretty funny. And then Thor goes on to tell them that Thanos did this, and that's when they find out that he's kind of collecting all the stones now. And then so
I think Gamora's kind of looking at Thor, right?
Yeah.
Or there's that kind of like, oh
yeah, because she's
Peter's all like nervous.
Yeah, because she's like, oh, his muscles are like some kind of steel. And he's like, put his arms down. And he's like, I think Drax says something like, oh, you're getting chubby.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna commit now. I'm gonna get a Bowflex.
And then
I'm gonna get dumbbells.
Rocket's like, oh, you're one sandwich away from fat.
Yeah. Oh man, the jabs at Peter Quill are hilarious. But yeah, so Thor basically is like, oh, I don't have my hammer, I need a weapon. So he has to go to this place called it's a crazy ass name for a planet. But anyways, he has to go to this place where he can get a new weapon made.
Okay.
And it's basically like a giant forge where they used a star to kind of heat the metal that they use to make weapons for kings or gods, basically. And then it cuts to the Vision and Scarlet Witch, and they're in Scotland, and they're kind of in hiding. Basically, they're kind of done with the whole superhero thing, and kind of checking in to let, I think, Captain America know where they're at. Mm-hmm. And they're talking about kind of running away even further, going underground pretty much, and just disappearing. And that's when the Vision is attacked by another part of the what are they called? It's another one of those guys
from Thanos' crew, pretty much.
The Black Order, that's what they're called. He basically, Vision gets stabbed through his torso, and Scarlet Witch and Vision are about to get basically killed because they're kind of giving up. And that's when Proxima Midnight, that's the female, she turns around as a train goes by, and you see a shadowy figure in the darkness, and she throws her spear, and whoever it is catches it, and then they step into the light, and you see it's Captain America, and the Captain America music plays, which is pretty dope. What else? They beat the crap out of Proxima and Corvus Glaive is the other guy. They beat the crap out of them, and that's when Falcon and Black Widow show up too. and they take off into